The lawsuits that are constantly being brought against the Forest Service and the BLM particularly are having a very debilitating effect on the entire management of our natural resources. The ones who are doing this are the extreme environmental organizations. They, through their actions in court, are preventing the federal agencies from managing the resources for which they are responsible in a sound way. And the only environmental organizations that are doing this are the extreme ones. There are some others that do not bring lawsuits. The problem is with the extreme ones. They continue to bring suits against every project that the Forest Service and the BLM in our area try to do. It has resulted in the diminution of management of our forests, which in turn has caused them not to be managed by human beings, but they're now managed by the bugs and by fire. And the result is that we now have less revenues for our counties, we have fewer businesses, and we have less jobs, and we have more social problems as a result. Where do they get the money to pay for the lawyers they have on their staff? I have checked the people on their staff and their boards of directors, and they have no foresters. They're mostly lawyers. They don't know that much about forest management. They do know how to manipulate the laws. A very exasperating source of their income is the Equal Access to Justice Act, which was enacted by Congress to help those people with limited means to be able to sue the government. And the environmental organizations have been able to corrupt that law to benefit themselves. If they bring a lawsuit, and even if they only win part of it, they can be compensated by the government, which is the people, the taxpayers, that are now paying for lawsuits being brought to damage the management of the taxpayers' resources. Many people, some of you who are watching this interview, think that the environmental organizations are this wonderful group of people who are merely trying to save our natural resources, the fish, the wildlife, and the trees. I would submit that that's not true. An example of what I'm talking about is a case that was brought several years ago against the Center for Biological Diversity that had sued the Forest Service, I think it was in Arizona. And they provided evidence in that lawsuit that was false. It consisted basically of 21 photographs that they claimed were taken of a cattleman's allotment, and that the allotment should be eliminated in order to stop this damage. This cattleman turned around and sued the Center for Biological Diversity, won the lawsuit, and was awarded $600,000 because the Center for Biological Diversity had lied about the evidence that they were bringing. The defendants were the Center for Biological Diversity and 3 of their employees. that actually produced the false information. One of them wound up here in this area as the executive director of an environmental organization. That organization was called the Siskiyou Project. He became the executive director. This person who was found guilty of falsifying evidence. The Siskiyou Project later was merged into K.S. Wild, and he became an employee of K.S. Wild. So this is the kind of people and the thrust of the extreme environmental organizations that we're dealing with that are so damaging to the proper management of our natural resources, and in this case, in this area, our forests.